How long have you lived here?
40 years.
Uh-huh.
I've been here on the same piece.
And where'd you live before that?
I wasn't alive then.
How many acres do you have?
We're on 7 total right here. And we lease another 1,500.
Where?
Up at the very top of the Santa Rosa Plateau. We're off of Tanaha Road. And out in front of Lake Skinner.
You lease it from like the government or?
The government leases, and we use it for grazing our cattle. We run 75 cow-calf pairs.
And who do you sell that mainly to?
I sell at the farmer's market in Temecula and the internet.
And it's all grass-fed?
Everything's grass-fed. Our mamas, we feed a little bit of barley that comes from the Green Flash Brewery.
To the sheep?
And the mommy cows get it too. It just helps them with milk production. These are the babies, well, the mamas and the babies.
How do you keep it so green here? Do you water or?
Right now, this is just dryland farmed.
Just natural?
And in the summer, we'll overseed it with barley, beardless barley, so they have a year-round crop. And once they get this one leveled, you can see the orange fences, those are temporary fencing that you just put in with a post pounder. And we'll move the fence on up towards the road. Okay.
So they eat grass year-round?
Year-round. We probably sell 150 to 200 lambs a year. We've upped our lamb production. From 50 ewes to 100. They're about 160 pounds at butcher weight, because American lamb, we like to promote it when it's larger. You know, what you get from New Zealand and Australia are about 40-pound carcasses, and ours are about 80. Some of these guys are retired show sheep that have gone into the breeding program.
So you breed your own sheep?
Yes.
And some you get from other places or no?
The only outside lambs we buy is from my business partner, Valentin Sinos, who runs 7,000 range ewes. And
range? Meaning they lease land from the government too? They
travel from the San Diego County line all the way up to Porterville, clearing off hayfields.
Wow. And
so they never see the inside of a pen except to go on the trailers and get moved. There's our ram. See the big white guy out there? He's brand new. We just brought him in. We're out crossing to get more hair sheep into our bloodlines because the hair sheep meat is sweeter. What causes that lammy taste that people don't like is the lanolin production in the wool infuses the fat. And hair sheep don't have that, so it's much sweeter.
This looks so green and idealistic right now. I assume it's kind of brown most of the year.
It browns up in the summer. And we keep this pasture watered in the summertime, and we plant it with barley.
Does it take a lot of water, or?
Not really. We use what's called a seep system, where if you came out here and if you did it with rainbirds, you'd probably be using an acre-foot a month, where we use 6 acre-feet a year. This is recycled tires, and it's got a capillary process. And instead of spraying water, it just sweats. And it soaks the ground 4 feet on either side of the tubing.
Why do people use the spray sprinklers?
It's just the old-fashioned way of doing it.
People are just used to doing it.
And when water was free,
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Right.
You know, and now here, especially in this part of the state,
we're
under so much water conservation is a huge issue, and they're going to start rationing in order to keep our livestock healthy. We had to figure out other ways to do things.
But you've been doing that for a while, or is that recent?
Yeah, we've been using sweat hoses for the last 5 years, since the last big drought. And Ping's thirsty.
Going for a swim?
Can you go swimming?
So the sheep were out there in the pasture during the day?
They pasture during the day, and we bring them in at night into this round pen here. The lambs bounce around all the time. But we have to bring the mother sheep in because we do have coyote and feral dog problems. I got into the sheep because I have working border collies that I trial, and I needed sheep to work the dog. And so I got 5 ewes. And then I decided to breed the ewes. And it's expanded from there.
And how long ago was that?
I got my first working dog 15 years ago. I won't feed corn because we don't know what's going on with the genetic modification stuff. And working as a research scientist, I want to know the end line. And if I want to eat fish DNA, I'm going to eat fish.
So you don't feed any genetically modified feeds to any of your animals? And so you're a research scientist?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, or what?
I do vector research. Work with the CDC, and I also work with the U.S. Department of Agriculture on a contract basis. We have a level 4 biocontainment. We own land up just outside of the La Cresta properties on Tanaha Road. And that is a biosecure area, so people can't come visit. That's why we're putting the animals in here and doing things so they can see what we do. And
there you have, what animals do you have?
There's cattle up there. We run Thule elk up there. We're doing some work with the state of Colorado. They have what's called chronic wasting disease, which is very similar to scrapie or BSE. And what they're doing is they're going out and eradicating their deer and elk herds and reseeding. And we're growing the animals to reseed.
And where did you study?
I went to school at Texas A&M University. And then I had a fellowship at the University of Edinburgh. Right now, Sammy has 600. My business partner, Mr. Finch.
I see.
And what he does is kind of unique. He travels up and down the state, clearing the national forests, the undergrowth, and along the freeways.
So the chickens are raised in Nuevo.
Yes. And what we do is, we think we're pretty special, but other people may not, is this gentleman runs an egg farm. And when they sex the chickens, usually if they're boy chickens, they go in a bucket. And instead we've contracted with him to put them out in pastures. And we dry farm up on the plateau, not watered. We get 2 cuttings of bearded barley up there, and we cut that, take it over to Eusebio, and that goes in the pastures where the chickens are. And other than that, they eat bugs and grubs and that kind of thing. And they're true pasture chickens. They're not. The term free range can be a bit misleading. What all free range says is that they have to have access to sunlight. That means you can open the door on the chicken house and go, see, that's sun, you can go out there. And it's the same with hogs and veal calves and everything like that. As for me, I will never eat veal in my life. I think it's the cruelest thing known to man. But our chickens are pastured. They can go inside if they want to. It's just the opposite. There used to be a USDA plant at Cal Poly Pomona.
When did they close down?
5 years ago. And the same people that ran that plant have opened a small plant on an old dairy. And they're connected with Cypress Meats.
And they're able to slaughter what kinds of animals?
They do everything except pigs.
So they do chickens, they do
chickens, ostriches, sheep, goats, llamas, cows, anything that isn't against either Hebrew or Muslim law.
Are they religious for some reason?
No, it's the fact that there is such a huge community here, and they do so much business for them that they would lose 60% of their business
if they did pig. I see, because they wouldn't be then kosher or following the other rules.
Yeah, the nearest hog kill facility is a 6-hour drive away. And in my opinion, it's better to have somebody raise them, go up a couple times a month and make sure everything's going well, and they only have to travel 3 miles, as opposed to being stressed 6 hours in the trailer.
It's built to slide at msn.com.
Right. Okay.